Oh, hello. I am back again for another video. This time not playing through a game, just showing some gameplay, but a game that is, well, you can see here is Instruments of Chaos starring young Indiana Jones. A game I already played through completely, but I played the final version of the game that shipped. I discovered there are several prototypes out in the wild that have been dumped and that the ROMs are available for. So in this video, I'm going to be playing through several much earlier versions of this game you're seeing on the screen. This is the final game. This is the demo mode, not even touching it, but it's just the final version of the game that's the most polished. It's still a little busted. I point that out during my discussions of the earlier builds, but basically there's a prototype build, a beta build, and then several other earlier builds that were like months before the game finally shipped in January 95, I want to say. Like, it was a pretty late game. Like, it released pretty late. But in any case, there were several. Oh, this shipped in 94. My bad. But in any case, yeah, there are earlier builds, so we're going to be looking through those. So this is the full game, and if you want a quick look, I mean, you already saw some of it. Let's just skip into the game here real quick. Let's just look at the India level, because this is the level that is available in all versions that I'm going to be looking at. So, all right, here we go, looking into India. We'll do a quick look, nothing that's super in depth. You can see here some of the, again, this is the final version of the game, and you can already see some of the jank showing through. Yeah, the game's really just notorious for having very, very rough physics. And not rough, actually. It was intentional. Like, the developers clearly made the physics this way, I think as a way to introduce challenge or make the game more dynamic. Who knows? Alright, well, we don't need to do that. I'm gonna die before I even get to the end of the level here. And they make you restart. Alright, so I'm not gonna go any further, but there you go. That's a little look at what the final version of this game looks like. Wild physics and all. So we're going to pause here. We're going to go back to our emulator. This is the Fusion 364 emulator. Let's see. But we're going to go ahead and open up our prototype build. So first, the prototype build, as it's known online. There you go. A much earlier version of the title screen. You can skip past this part by pressing start. You cannot tweak anything. This menu pops up, but there's nothing you can change here, so all you can do is press start to exit. Here we have, as you can see, the game wasn't called the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles because they were developing this game when that was the name of the TV show, and that changed later on. So this game basically disassociated itself from the TV show that had been canceled before the game shipped, so they named it Instruments of Chaos starring young Indiana Jones. So, all right, here we go. So same level as we were just seeing, but a much earlier version of it. You can see here, you only have the whip. And you can also see how annoying the enemies are. Physics are not quite the same. It might look like it's still pretty wild physics, but no. So they kept that whip mechanic that is in all versions of the game. You have to hold the button to get it to do that. But this is new. They give you this instant whip action where you can just whip straight ahead. That's different. The sprite's different, of course. The indie sprite looks different here. And there's no other functionality here. It's just jump and whip. So there's that. This level, it looks pretty similar. It even has like kind of sort of the multiple tiers that are in the final version of the game. Similar items, right? Like I just picked something up. Let's see. Let's zip ahead. Yeah, again, this is an early build. There's not a whole lot. I don't even think I took damage for any of those attacks. There's no enemies. You can see here, there's just not a whole lot going on in this early prototype build. Let's see, we can hop. Can we hop up? Another big point, actually, you can see here that the camera doesn't lead ahead of the player. So I'm running, and I just have no field of view for what's going on ahead. So that's also just a little something about. It speaks to the unfinished nature of this early prototype. Can we jump up here? Yeah, there we go. So yeah, I can do this. Again, same as the earlier, or the final version of this level we were looking at the beginning. But here you go. You can look in this area. There's nothing to do here. This area is much more elaborate, which I'll show off a little bit later. There you go. So you go up to the door. You get like a weird, funkadelic, psychedelic version of Indiana Jones with his pink jacket and pink shoes, which looks pretty cool, actually. That's a pretty dope outfit, I think. But yeah, here we go. So this is the interior of this temple area. You can kind of jump around on some of the platforms. All right, but there's nothing up there anyway. You can zip ahead to meet here we go. Our buddy the elephant, which doesn't hurt us. You can kind of balance on top of his back, which is a feature that shows up in the final version of this area where there's another elephant. There's a giant sort of, I don't know if it's any actual statue as much as yeah. I don't know if it's accurate to any deity in like Hinduism or anything anywhere in India. Seems like they wouldn't be too sensitive to that stuff back then. But yeah, so you can ride on the elephant just like before. These weird statues that you're supposed to knock out in the final version of the game, they're here now, but they cannot be knocked out. They're not interactive in any way, so you can't do anything with that. Let's run up to that giant statue. Here, it's different in that you can jump onto the statue. You can't do that in the final version. You can jump onto some of the elements, but you can't really do anything with it. You can sort of try to whip toward it, but nothing happens. We can jump ahead here and see that the other side of the room is just mirrored to look like the area we were just in the beginning. And that's it. That's all you can do in this prototype. So there's just the bazaar or the marketplace area in the beginning. There's this inner temple area where you can't do anything here, and that's it. So that's the end of the prototype. So now I'm just going to go ahead and hop out of this into the next thing. So again, that was the earliest prototype. So I guess early '93 is when that would have been dated. So now we're going to load what is called the beta build. I wasn't even aware of this when I was initially playing this game. I thought I knew about the prototype and it seemed pretty light, so I just decided to skip it. But then I discovered there was this beta build, which was not super easy to find, but I found it. And then this build has a whole lot more going on. So let's go ahead and hop in. Here we go. So now we have a title screen that looks a lot closer to the final, but it's still missing like the legal text and options menus and etc. So nothing going on here. So they just had some of the art implemented by this point. Here we go. We have an option screen with actual options. So now you can actually tweak some of these things. Now I will say about this build, it's not the most stable. So I'm probably going to crash throughout this playthrough, but that's fine because, well, you'll see why in a moment. So here we get the choose your destination screen, which is a lot like the final version of the game. And in this build of the game, I'm going to go through all the levels just to show them off real quick. You can pause here for no reason. This pops up, but it's clearly like placeholder, like they don't have any of the interactive text or anything available. And also this doesn't match the final game anyway. They changed it again, but you can skip past this part. Here we are in the Tibet level. And here is why I'm going to be playing all the levels, because this game has debug. So the debug menu, if you pause and you press A button, you can skip past this area to the next area. If you press B button, you can do this weird, I guess it's most famously known as from like Sonic 2, but a lot of these games had this feature. If I press B, I can just fly around as an object. If you press C, you can actually place instances of that object in the level. So it's basically like level design stuff. And it's meant for debug by the developers, but this also just allows us to kind of fly past everything in the game and go there and wrap it up. Oh, and I died. And it's going to reset me to the beginning. Yeah, my bad. I didn't need to do that, but I did. All right, let's just... Also, you can change objects. So here we go. I'm changing to different ice, pieces of ice. There's a fish. Can we place a fish? Let's see. No, the fish isn't sticking, but sometimes certain objects... Oh, indie. Yeah, you can place indies in the level. And they kind of mirror your actions, so you're just placing clones that do exactly as you do. But if you press B again, you can get out of that debug mode, and that was the end of the area, so... Or was it? Did I die? Whoop, my bad. I might have gone... Oh, you know what happened? The clone died. If your clone dies, you also die. That's the physics of this world. But we're not... Alright, let's just get past this area. Alright, here we go. This area is also in the final version of the game. And it's exactly the same. It's just a little mountainside that you're supposed to kind of jump up and scale while avoiding the monks and the goats. And they I don't know, the sprites look pretty fine, like similar to the final. I can't tell if they're too different, but this whole area is the same. And here's the other feature, actually, which I should have just used. If you pause and press A button, it'll just skip you past that whole area completely. Alright, so here we have this tower. I'm not going to scale the tower, I'm just going to debug. And show you... Yep, it's the same old sort of structure. It's a bit different in that there are monks here. I don't think the final version of the game had those monks. This dragon was also not in the final version of the game. At least not in that position. Hey, there's the monk. See, that wasn't there in the final game. This whole elevator with the monk thing, that was new. But yeah, we're just going to go ahead and fly up to the final floor so we can fight the dude. Oh, this is also new. You can change weapons. So there you didn't see, but I pressed the A button to switch to the gun. We'll show off more of that in a bit. And that's it. So Tibet is pretty much the same areas. They're just more polished in the final version of the game. So that was Tibet. Let's look at England. Why not? Again, the placeholder text screen that has no text at the moment. This is exactly the same. It's just a bridge area. These are new. The crates in the... Oh, here we go. So this... Actually, I'll show this off. This is missing completely in the final game. Like, there's a fisticuffs mode for young Indy. And if you hold up, you can kick. And I'm pressing the B button right here. You hold down, you can sort of do a low kick. And if you just tap the button, the B button, you can just punch. And that's not in the final game. There's no punching or kicking of any kind. But yeah, everything else, the whip is there, the gun is there, and the grenades are there. These crates are different in the final game too. In the final game, they're just brown crates, or brown boxes, so... but yeah, let's just fly around a bit here. So it's pretty much the same layout for this first area of England. It's just a bridge, you have to climb up here, you have to blow up the bridge gears, cross this bridge to blow up the second bridge gears box, and then that causes a bridge to lower here, and then you fight a boss. But we're just gonna go ahead and skip past that. So let's go back to normal mode, and skip. Oh yeah, this area, it's the same super tall tower where you're supposed to kind of scale this huge, not huge, but just many levels of this tower. And it's just a very long and annoying section of the game, I think. But you make your way through until eventually you end up in the same position with this guy. And then let's switch to the... Oh, we killed him already. I have no idea what I did to kill him, but there you go. Same tower, same boss fight. That's all the same. All right. What else can we saw Tibet, we saw England. Let's look at Egypt. Yep, nothing there. Oh yeah, so this part, we're just gonna fly past all these guys. Because, yeah, we don't need to do any of this. This is the part of the game that kind of mirrors the final game, where there's just wind blowing in constantly and pushing you back. So it's pretty simple to get through, but we don't need to do that. So let's just go back to normal and finish this section. So this part. So this is just like the final game. You start off in this, you end up in this pyramid, and this is the first floor, and you're supposed to kind of find your way through until you get to the this thing. You can see some of the graphics getting corrupted, and look, you can see how slow it is. The memory in this area is horrible, even in the final game. Like, even the final game will sometimes crash from like, I don't know, it seems like just too much loaded, too many graphics getting loaded in. It runs out of memory and it'll just crash on you. But what I'm trying to do here is take out that that wheel up there. There it is. So I took out the chain. That's the objective on every floor of this level. So now, normally you'd kind of progress back to this area. And here, you would jump up to this portal. And in the regular game, that would just lead you to another floor of the pyramid. But here, obviously it's not implemented. Here you can see the date of the build. Version March 10th, 1993. Yeah, the game crashed. And because that tends to make the game, the build unstable, so we're just going to go ahead and reload. We're going to power off. We're going to go ahead and load our ROM again. Where's that ROM? Beta. There it is. But also not beta. This is, in traditional game dev terms, this is very obviously not beta. This is not even alpha, right? Because the final assets aren't in. Many of these assets are similar to the final, but like the main indie sprite's different. Like, so this was clearly, I would describe this as a pre-alpha build, I think. But definitely not a beta of any sort. So whoever named this didn't quite know their terms. But that's fine. Actually, no, it's not fine either because it also made it tough to understand what was going on. Alright, so here we're back on the map. We saw England, we saw Egypt. That is all of Egypt. So, or was it? Actually, hold on. Let me do something. Let's go back to Egypt. Oh, I pressed the C button, which opens up this debug menu. But you can see there, it's saying that we need to hook up to like certain hardware, which we don't have. We're just going to bail out of that. We're going to go back to England. We're going to skip past this area. And then we're going to go ahead and see if we can skip past this. And yeah, so the boss fight is just, the rest of the pyramid and the boss fight are completely missing in Egypt. So that's a big chunk of the level. That's just not even in this build. So they were still working on that one, I suppose. So we looked at England, Tibet. We looked at Egypt. Let's go to, what should we look at? Actually, let's look at India, why not? So India is kind of our through line in all these different builds, because it's, again, the one level that's present in all of them. So we're going to skip past all this. You can see here, actually, yeah, I think the art between that prototype and this does look a bit different. So it looks like this is further along. But yeah, we're going to go and skip past everybody. You can see here, same layout. Similar to other games of the time, I guess, like maybe like Aladdin, right? Like that game takes place, has a whole marketplace. This same architecture and sort of Moroccan or North African design. But yeah, we're going to skip past all that. This area is actually like completed, or not completed, but it's definitely much more fleshed out than it was in that prototype. You can see here that the requirement to break these stones is in place. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. This is also like the final game. You're supposed to go around and bust up these little stone weights, counterweights. Let's see how far we can get. Oh yeah, the whip. The whip doesn't control great. It's not a great mechanism in the final game, but here in the prototype even. Oh, look at that! I made a clone of the monkey, which I don't think. Hopefully that doesn't cause a crash or something weird. I think that's it. And here we have another one of those boxes that does not look like the final version. You can see there my numbers, like my lives and everything is just out of control, so very debug. Alright, let's switch the gun. 999. One difference though, between this and the final, is you can run and shoot in the final version. Here you cannot. So that was something they added later. Yeah, this guy's conjuring knives from the sky. There he is. He's dead. Oh, is it not gonna work? There it is. So yeah, here we have the inner temple, which we looked at in the prototype as well. All right, so here think it's the same idea. Yeah, it is the same idea. We have to ride the elephant. Actually, no, we don't. I can kind of show you that the area, again, is very similar to the prototype and the final. Some tweaks were made, I'm sure. The statue changed? No, actually, different color scheme, but it's the same statue. But yeah, we're just going to go ahead and skip past all that to the next area. So this is interesting with India. This is not present in the final game. This whole bit, and it looks like it. Like, it looks like it's just not complete. Like, it's got things going on, obviously, some enemies and platforms, but like, it's just not interesting at all. This really looks like it was some sort of like placeholder or work in progress, but they didn't. There's nothing there. That's it. All right, here we go. So this matches more closely with the final version of the game. Here we can see if we can break this thing. Let's try it out. Oh wow! Look at that frame rate is. All right, well there you go. So in the final game, those walls come in and they crush you, and there's no way out of it. So let's just go ahead and fly through this. You can see the same elements: the ball and chain. Those mechanisms you have to bust up to progress. I'm not seeing the falling stones with lava. Let's see if those appear. No? Yeah, the final... Alright, here we have the boss fight that is present in this level. It's the same fight in the same room against the spy. So yeah, interesting that at this point, they already had determined that the boss fight in each level would just be the spy. Oh man, you cannot... There you go, he's dead. In a very janky sort of way. Alright, so we saw Tibet, we saw India, we saw Egypt, we saw England. I'm going to look at Germany next, even though you've probably seen something on the far left that I'll talk about in a moment. But Germany is the final level. And normally, you wouldn't be able to get here until you finish every other area of the level of the game. Like, you can select it, but then a text pop-up appears that says, hey, you can't go there yet. Like, you have to take out everything else before you can go here. But yeah, if you go through this area, it's pretty much the same as the final game, where you go to the end of this area, then you have to climb this tower to the top, and then once you're up here, you have to kind of make your way across this area of this Zeppelin, and then there would be a gap here where you could jump down, and then you would make your way across this area, and then around here, there should be another gap to jump down to this lower area, but it's not here. So this final levels were still work in progress, but in the final game, you get to about here, then you jump down onto this platform, and then here, a bunch of bad guys pop out of that door and you kill them. But this version, early version of the game, doesn't seem to have any of that stuff in there, so you can't get past this part naturally, but you can use debug skip to get through here. Here, in this part of the game, you're supposed to take out these valves to, I guess, destroy the Zeppelin, like kill it. And then from here, you'd have a final escape sequence. That would be dynamite that should blow up, but looks like the timer's not working. Oh, it blew up anyway. So here, like I said, you're supposed to bust up the valves, but if you actually try that in this version of the game, it crashes. So it wasn't quite hooked up and ready to go. But there you are. So let's just go back in here, blah, blah, blah. All right, but now we're going to get to the most exciting part of this build of the game. What I think is the coolest thing, which is the missing Peru level. Now, I knew about this level because it had been written about. I think in magazines, maybe they had covered it. They talked about it. There had been some previews where they showed off Peru. But in the final version of the game, it's not there. And there are, like I said, there are other builds that are from months before the final version of the game, and none of them have this Peru level. So, it just seemed like one of those things you hear about, like, oh, this game had a level, it got cut, and it never showed up in the wild, or no one ever saw it, really. But here you go. This is a build of the game, again, the build called Beta, that actually has this missing Peru level, so we get to check it out. Same as the other levels, there's no introductory text yet. So, yeah, well, here we go. This is Peru. There's no context for what the heck's supposed to be going on here, why you're in Peru, what exactly is happening. and it's pretty wild. So I'm not even going to try to like naturally progress through this area because it's so broken and incomplete that there's no reason no reason to do that. Here you can see some of the elements, like there's water stuff you're supposed to avoid. These guys, I think, these statues like attack you. These discs will like pop out and roll around and try to attack you as well. Spiky balls, sure. More water jets. This is, to me, reminiscent of that level in, I think it's World of Illusion. Is it World? Maybe Castle of Illusion, where you're going through like an ancient temple and it's got all these waterways and jets and stuff. And that'll be more prominent later as we go through the level. So, yeah, here we go. We're going through. We're at the end of this area, and I got killed. That's fine, because I have so many lives. Oh, and I'm getting killed a lot. So, that's the first area. We're just going to go ahead and debug skip past that. Here we have some guys, or some enemies, that we're supposed to fight, I guess. Can't shoot them, so let's just throw grenades. That'll blow them up. I think. Did we kill him? Yeah, we did. We can open up a crate, why not? Alright, well I'm not gonna play through the rest of this. So here you go, some swords that I think attack you, and then you can go through and you can see like there's these guys. I think you can attack them. I don't know if they actually function, like if you can actually defeat them, but you can definitely hit them. But yeah, let's keep going through as the magic feather. A lot of spiders pop up. I don't think you can kill them either. Some flying swords, some more of those piston obstacles, and yeah, some more of that. Another crate. But you can see here, like, this is just very boring. There's no elevations here. I mean, they try to do that with pistons, I guess, but like the India level has some of that variation up and down. You can kind of get up to higher platforms and such. Not many levels have that anyway, but yeah, you can see here Peru is just, yeah, very it feels very incomplete. There you go. Here we are at the end of the level. More pistons. They love pistons, man. Whoever was designing this level thought like pistons was the way to go. Pistons and giant walls and like, again, and water jets. Like it's all the same elements we saw in the first area. We're already in Area 3, by the way. The final game, most levels consist of like 2 areas, maybe 3, but if it has more than 2, they're smaller bits. But like this area, we're already up to level Area 3. Looks pretty elaborate to me. We reached the end again, so now we get to continue to the next areas. Let's just run through naturally here, or not. Let's just debug skip. Yeah, let's fly past all this stuff. But again, more of the same elements. Peruvian temples, just, yeah, no lack of imagination. They have a bunch of the same stuff over and over. Here we have what I think could be a boss fight. It's just a real seizure-inducing area here with like skull platforms and stuff, some water jets you can jump onto. No idea if I'm affecting anything. It looks like you can attack them. Let's try to fight it. Why not? Hold up. Oh, look at that. We got the eagle. Oh, I think I took it out. Let's see if anyone else pops up. Yeah, the skull did. Well, nothing's happening, but again, this looks like it might have been a boss-type fight, which goes against the grain of what they've been doing with every other level, where it's always the spy. So maybe that speaks to how much earlier this level was, but we're going to skip past this. Here we go, and this is what looks most like that Castle of Illusion level in that ancient water temple, because, yeah, I think that level also has, like, a lot of sliding down water in a similar fashion as this. Which is new, by the way. No, whoop, look at that. Skip this past a whole bunch. Yeah, no other area of this demo, or this build, or the final game has this sort of like, oh, look at that. And it just drops us right into the spy's lair, where we're going to quickly take him out. So there you go. So that other area couldn't have been the final boss fight if this has its own spy. But there you go. So yeah, we looked at everything, and this to me is the most interesting thing about this build is the fact that the Peru level is in there. You can kind of get a sense of what they were trying to do, but it's so early that it's clearly not meant to be very playable. So that's mostly it, but I'm going to go ahead and do one more thing here. We're going to go ahead and look at another build of the game from September 94. And again, I think this game was wrapped up by like December. So this is much closer to the final version of the game. So there you go. I mean, you can see first of all that the copyright still says 93, but the final version of the game says 94. We can look at options. It's exactly the same. I forget if it looks this way, but I mean, it certainly has the same options in there. So there you go. So we can tweak options, finally, here. We can go to start. I think is it the same text as the final game? Oh, I don't recall, but that's fine. Right, here you go. So we finally have some sort of context of what's going on. Peru's gone, so that's noteworthy. I'm not going to go ahead and look through these levels because it's going to be similar to Final, and there's no debug to be able to quickly fly around anyway, so I'm not going to try. Let's just look at India one more time, because why not? That's been our anchor level this whole time. So yeah, he has to go through the bazaar and whip those stones at the end. Let's see how far we can get. And as quickly as possible, because I don't want to spend too much time on this. This is a big difference, though, actually. The critters die a lot more quickly. Like, that bird got taken out in what, one or two hits? The birds in the final version of the game take so much longer to defeat. It's super annoying, actually. But yeah, this build of the earlier build of the game, they said, hey, let's not have the birds have as much health. Now let's go ahead and skip past as much as we can here. Is that a box? No. So here you can see the crates are now the final version of the crates. Yeah, let's kill this dude real quick. Oh, yeah, they're taking some health. I gotta be careful. Whoa! I'm gonna say that is not in the final version of the game. It looks like their trampolines here have a lot more bounce than they would in the final versions, but... Alright, let's go ahead and make your way up toward the stones, because I do want to see if we can get to that. You gotta be real careful. Yeah, that monkey, man. It's in the final game, and it's just as wonky in the final game. In terms of, like, the behavior and what it's supposed to be doing, it's never clear. In the final game, that bird would have straight up murdered me. It's very strange that the birds aren't as aggressive and not as annoying, I guess, as the final game. And again, I think that's a choice developers make where they decide, like, you know what? The game's too easy, we're gonna make certain obstacles much more difficult to get past so you don't beat it as quickly. That's really it. They didn't want you to beat the games too quickly back then. So they introduced a lot of annoying things that they maybe didn't have to do. Oh man. Looks like... Oh no. Might not be as easy to get through this part. Yeah, the key thing here is just getting up high enough. And then let's just go ahead and grab hold of that one. Grab it. Got it. Yeah, man. I don't think the final game is this wonky with its physics. Now, let's take that one out. Oh, we got it. We're gonna jump across. Yep, we're gonna do that. We're gonna see if we can swing over there. Yeah, whatever. Take out the bird. Die. Oh yeah, see, that bird died immediately. Yeah, the birds in the final game were just so much more frustrating than this. Oh. But it looks like even here they can really be a stick in your craw, as it were. Oh, I can hear the wings of doom fluttering above me. There it is. All right. But yeah, let's see if we can get to at least the end of the India level in this build. All right, so we did that. I think that's it for the door. Yep, that's it. So this is like the final game. A difference though is the birds, all those birds stick around? Or maybe not. Oh no, we want the gun. Yeah, we just want to kill this dude as quickly as possible. Alright, he's dead. We can go. Yep. Same as before, they tell you that you made it. So there you go. They were a bit more helpful in their text. And then they decide to be jerks in the final game. Alright, yeah, these guys are in the final game. Always annoying. But same objective as before. You gotta use the elephant to do the thing. So let's go ahead and find that elephant and get going. These guys, I just shoot them. All right, one bullet to the face should absolutely get the job done here, so to speak. Oh. All right, we gotta knock out these idols, which, yeah, I missed one already. I saw that. And I'm probably gonna get knocked out by at least one guy, but we'll see. We're doing pretty good with the idols, though. I don't know if you noticed in that first prototype build, there were like 20 of those idols. So I think they hadn't decided how they were going to be use them. Oh, look, we're back to a gold color scheme. The last build didn't have that. I guess the final version of the game probably has gold as well. Oh no, we were right at the one idol we needed to take out. Oh, you jerk. Alright, just leave me alone, man. Don't. Stop it. Don't. Alright, let's just hurry up the elephant. No, it happened again. And you cannot turn that elephant around either. So now we have to ride all the way to the end and all the way back. In the final game, those idols actually reset after a while. Like, if you take too long, some of them stand up again and you have to do them, knock them out again. Oh no, elephant. Don't. Just do it. Alright, let's hurry up. Come on. Let's get to that one middle idol. But I bet that jerk's gonna be there, so be careful. Be careful. Alright, good. Alright, we did it. Everyone disappears immediately. Sure. Alright, we did that. Took him out. Oh, this area. Right, I'm in an emulator and I have save states. I might need them for this area, because, yeah, without debug, you gotta go through and you gotta do the thing. Oh, this part's funny though. So first of all, in the final game, taking those things out is super annoying, and it's just as annoying here. So I'm not even gonna try. Here in the final game, you're dead, but in this early build, I think they realized, like, just disable health so we can, make, I guess, testing a little easier. But I'm just gonna use save states to get through these annoying, like, pits. Yeah, look at that. Don't. Alright, we're gonna save here. It is possible to take them out, it's just, super annoying. And then there's the bat that just interrupts you and it makes it worse. Oh, look at that, I actually did it this time. Nope, look at that. Yeah, again, it's those knockback physics are just bananas. I don't know what they're thinking. It really feels like a thing where, like, a programmer, the lead programmer on this, which I think was Brian A. Rice, the person whose name is also the name of the company that developed it. But yeah, I think the programmers were like, no, the physics are cool, look what we can do with physics. Look at the whip. The whip has physics. It swings around all wild, and I think they just thought it was cool and they couldn't let it go. They said, no, this is what makes the game stand out. And that's true, but not in a good way. Those physics are not what's good about this game. The whip is, but like, yeah, the movement and the way that knockback is treated, it's just real bad. Oof. The frame rate's real bad. I hope it doesn't crash. Hey, we took it out. Let's make sure we save. And let's just skip past completely solid objects, whatever. Alright. And now we're at the final boss. Ooh. Well, I'm out of pistol ammo, so I'm gonna have to lob grenades at this guy. Which is fine. I have, You were badly beaten. Can I go back in? No, yeah. You cannot go back in there. Okay, well, that's it for this video anyway. That was just looking at 3 earlier versions of this game just to see what the differences might be. And just to, again, look at that Peru level, which I think is all very interesting to check out. So, thanks for watching this video. You can check out a whole series of Young Indiana Jones stuff that I did. And until the next video, see ya.